Hey everybody, it's Suzanne and I'm checking in with this week's video blog. Well, let's see, it is Sunday, February 12th, 2012, and this is my going into my 26th week post-op. And let's see, well, I can really tell you, and I keep harping on this, cold weather really sucks. It's gotten really cold for this part of the country, and it's more weather moving in. I just found out from our handy dandy weather radar that there is a 90% chance of freezing precipitation. So that ought to be real great traveling in the morning. That makes everything really ache and hurt, and well, what are you going to do? I layer clothes. Today I had, things that I was, mini layers. And whenever I would go out, I'd have to, put the jacket on and, just layer on the clothes. And I'm going to have to break down and probably get thermal underwear. But, I never thought that I would be doing that, but I am. This past week, weigh-in was not really all that great, not much to write home about. It was 0.9, which still brings me up to 86.6 pounds. So I'm steadily moving in the right direction. Then that kind of got me to thinking, it's like, I don't have but less than, 4.5 pounds before I reach the 90-pound mark. And I think that is just absolutely amazing when I think about it. In a little over 6.5, almost 7 months, I've lost almost 90 pounds. And that's bringing me ever closer to the goal that I would like to lose 140 pounds. So I'm well on my way. To once I reach, the 100-pound mark, then I only have like 40 in a little bit to go. So that's really, it kind of blows my mind when I think about it. I just, the exercise and all of the tools in your toolbox, not just the surgery, but it's the exercise and, making the right food choices and getting all of the baggage that you have kind of sorted away is really part of what it is to lose weight. And I've heard on, people just talking in general, and it's just that, they say, how are you doing it? What's your, how are you doing it? Someone else who had surgery has only lost X number of pounds, and, you're looking, good, and how are you doing it? And there's not really any advice that you can give to someone. It's a lot of things, and a lot of those things are kind of mental, emotional things that you've got to sort out on your own. And if you don't do that, then that's going to hold you back. And when I first started out, I was really kind of over prepared for it and looked at a lot of these videos on YouTube talking about their surgery and talking about some of the things that they've gone through, some of the things that they how tough it was, how things seemed to be real easy, and you have to go through a lot of that in preparation for your own experience. And these videos, I'm just kind of adding to it, and hopefully, somebody will, get something out of it. Mine and all the others that are out there, you can get something from that to take away to use, which is what I did. And there have been, several people that I follow even today, I follow, and they're going through, some tough times, and it sets you back sometimes, and you just have to keep moving forward. And my thing is like, yeah, keep moving forward, and don't ever look back. And I think that's part of that little measure of success that I've had. There are just no shortcuts. You have to, get it right here, figure it out in here, and then use all of the tools that you have to make the weight go away. And once you have the operations, that's just one tool. Then it has to be exercise, and it has to be eating right, and it has to be that commitment there to try to figure out what it is that got you in that really dangerous position in the first place. And it takes a lifetime to figure all of that out, which I still do on a daily basis. There are things that rear their ugly head, and you have to figure out a solution. It's not going to be the comfort food. That's like a temporary thing. And I guess in some ways it's sort of like a drug. You take the drug, it kind of gets rid of whatever happens to be bothering you just very temporarily. You come out of it, and then its problem is still there. So I've had to try to think of other ways to solve, or to temporarily put whatever happens to be bothering me away, or try to figure out some other way to solve it. But anyway, that's just a little advice, in case you're wondering about that, because I think you're going to find, and I'm just kind of beginning to get a little bit of that, of, well, you had this operation. You really didn't do it the honest way. You're just, you had, the operation, and that kind of solves everything, and you can lose weight. That's not true. It's just not true at all. And I had the operation, and thousands of other people have had the operation, but that's just the first step. And it's a long journey, and I think that's why me and thousands of other people choose to put their diary online on places like YouTube, so it can help other people. And that's really what I'm doing. And you have this kind of weekly accountability too. You're on, and you're putting your stuff out there, and hopefully helping other people and yourself at the same time. I'm still having headaches, still having the muscle fatigues, kind of the achiness. I'm not sure exactly what that is. It could be some residual fibromyalgia. It could just be the weather in general. But I tend to have had in the last maybe month and a half, where I'm having the muscle aches, and the kind of that rundown kind of feeling, and just this kind of like your butt is dragging. And I hadn't quite figured out what. I mean, I've stepped up the vitamins, I drink the water, I eat as much protein that I can, and trying to do all the right things, and continuing to exercise. But it's just that sometimes I will have this. It's like you've run a marathon and you haven't had time to recuperate, and you're having to run another marathon. So and the headaches and that sort of thing. So I'm not really sure exactly where that's all coming from. Could just be the weather, and just being cold, and and all of that kind of um, the exercises were going really good. Um, Now I've had, some things that I can do and other things that I really kind of struggle with, but I always, try to do whatever it is the trainer is asking me to do. This week was kind of tough, and I was really kind of feeling, like a real marshmallow. And then she told me, she said, well, I'm adding weight to all of your cardio, and I'm stepping it up a notch, because as you get stronger and more athletic, I'm going to step it up. Well, that's great, and I did what I was supposed to do, but my knees and everything are still not quite there. Had like this one exercise that I was doing, and it really hurt. And I don't often, I grouse and complain. It's like, oh, I can't do it, I can't do it. And she's like, keep on, come on, you can do it. And I'll go ahead and finish it. And but this particular time was really the first time where it was like, I'm not doing it. That really hurt. That really hurt. So anyway, the exercise is real key, and I think that for me, it's been real important, and I think other people will run into the same thing. Is if you have the operation and you just eat what you're supposed to, or eat the amounts that you're supposed to, you're going to lose weight. But it's a little bit different than when you're doing some intense kind of cardiovascular exercises. And I think that has been really key for me. And I'm going to try to, hang in there and do that just as long as I can. Because eventually, when I reach the goal, whatever that happens to be, and whenever that happens, that continuing to exercise is going to be really important. But anyway, I'm rattling on here, and the video is getting kind of lengthy, so I will close, and I'll just say, if you are running alongside me, or you're just coming into where you're beginning to lose weight, stick it in there, stick it out, and keep going after the goal, because you're worth it, and I'm worth it, and we're going to do it. And I hope everyone has a good week, and hopefully next week I'll have a little better news, other than just almost a pound. I kind of get a little disappointed when I work so hard and then it's pound or less, and it's like, well, it's not a gain. I should be happy about that, and I am, but it sure would, those 3 and 4 pounds a week is really great. So I guess I get a little spoiled with that. But anyway, I hope everybody has a good week. I'm going to try, and hopefully I won't get sleeted in and have to go slip sliding around in this awful weather. But until next week, I'll see everyone. Bye.